Alright, so I wanted to make a short video lesson on polychords as just a brief introduction to what they are and a little bit what they sound like. So a polychord is when you stack 2 or 3 more chords on top of each other. I'm showing you this on the keyboard since it's easier, at least for me, to visualize these kinds of things on a keyboard. On a guitar, you're only fretting typically with 4 fingers, and a polychord can have more notes, 6 notes. If you have 2 triads with mutually exclusive notes, you're gonna use 6 notes. So yeah, and you have 4 fingers, and so you have some options for voicing these things on guitar, which I can show you in a later video. But right now, let's do it on the keyboard. So, for example, a C major 9th chord. I'm sure the ones of you who have reached to that part of your guitar chord journey, you have some options for voicing that. If you play keyboard, maybe you do something like where the notes are kind of like bundled together, which is kind of cool. That's also a cool sound. That's extremely hard to do on a guitar when there's all these tight intervals. But anyway, you can also do a C major 9th by playing a C major triad in one hand and a G major in the other hand. And you have the G major on top of the C major. And there's something about having a major triad on top of the other chord. Major triads are so incredibly recognizable for our ears. They have such a bright sound. So even on like a really kind of dark sounding chord like this, having that on top of this really gnarly chord still gives it a really bright flavor. So that's a B major triad on top of a C minor, and I love that. So yeah, so there's tons of ways you can do that. You can combine many different triads. In the song Blast Radius, I have a chord like in the over the quintuplet part. There's a C symmetrical diminished part where I think I play this voicing. So it's the key is C, and so it's like F sharp G, C, D flat. So there's 2 minor seconds. So kind of disturbing sound. And on top of that, I play something like an E flat major. And then I think I'd play this one. I can't remember exactly what kind of voicings, but that's a very cool sound. I also play some kind of Lydian chords. First, I just play something that's not really a polychord because I play an A triad in one hand, and the other hand plays also an A major, but with the added 9th. So that's just an A add 9 chord. But then the next chord, I moved the major 3rd in this hand up to a raised 4th, augmented 4th, is the proper name, I suppose. And in this hand, I play A, B, E, G sharp. So it's basically an E major triad, but I also play an A, which is the root that the bass plays. So this plus that is, so it goes like, and I think that's kind of cool. So something you could do as an experiment is to try combining every major and minor triad that there is. So for example, like start with a C major triad in your left hand, and then you try every major triad in the right hand on top, like C plus C, is just the C, but C plus D flat major. That's a really gnarly sound. C plus D. That's like Lydian. E flat. That's like the Jimi Hendrix chord, the +9, 7 + 9. And so on. And you can just try them all out. And then you move on to minor. C minor plus C minor doesn't equal too much, but you put the D flat minor on top. The D minor. That's like a Dorian sound. Yeah, you just keep experimenting, and yeah, you get some cool results. So this is something, the concept of polychords and superimposing harmony over other harmony is something that we'll talk about many more times before the end of time. So I hope you enjoyed this little introduction, and I'll see you on the next one.